What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video, which is basically a continuation of the last video. The car is completely prepped, like ready to be taped up for primer, finally. I keep saying, just got this, just got that, but it's fully done. Plan is, you can't really tell, but I swept in here like really good already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the car all taped up. I'm gonna tape it to the ground. Then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna blow all the walls, ceiling, everything, all up there, all the dust. It's not super important for a primer, but the less dust you get, the better you're gonna be. So, and plus it's practice for once I actually go to like painting here. Once I blow it all out, then I'm gonna, well, clean the benches off. I'm gonna need one of them. But then I'm also gonna cover the walls up with basically this plastic. I broke the rest of this roll, and I'm gonna cover all the walls and the floor. Because if I don't, I'm probably gonna hate myself, even though it's already a mess in here, but whatever. That is gonna be what we're doing. And taping stuff, like cars, there's really no proper, like 100% proper way to do it, or, well, there is wrong ways to do it, I guess, but basically what you wanna do is just make sure the paper is tight everywhere, so there's not like little seams and folds where dirt and dust and stuff can collect. Like I said, with primer, it's not super important. Same with like in the door jambs. I'll probably just like flip the tape back. Actually, I should show you. So basically, it's wide tape. Basically like that, and then just pull it back so your edge is not on the edge of the door, and then that'll leave like not a super hard line, but it'll be good enough for primer. Like I said, we're just trying to make sure that we don't get a ton of primer in the door jambs, but it doesn't matter because it's all going to get painted anyway. But if you're not, then obviously you want to do a better job than that. And then close this on that, and you can see that's pretty much already sealed. So that's basically all I'm going to be doing for this step. But yeah, I'll try and explain it kind of as I go. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, there's really no like dead set like right or wrong way to tape. Basically all you're trying to do is keep paint or whatever you're putting primer out of areas, and that's basically it. So as long as it does that, I guess you've taped it. Basically, since I have the window out and I don't want any overspray going in there, I'm gonna like 100% seal it off. So I'm gonna roll the tape on this line here, just like I showed you in the door pretty much. And then I'll just have one piece of paper going through here, and then all the way up through the cowl and up around the windshield. And that'll pretty much seal that 100%. And I'll just make sure it's taped down really good, make sure there's no gaps, and be all set. So you can see pretty much I taped it right to the floor. That's just so it seals up, there's be no crap blowing out from underneath there, whatever, and protect the floor under the car. But I have it going in, and that's just so, like when I'm standing here, and I'm going to like reach over the hood, I can stand like fully in the car like you would want to, right? And get over there. That way you're not just like stepping on it and ripping the paper off, and it kind of defeats the purpose if you end up ripping the paper off. So yeah, that took about 2 hours, but I'm out of tape, so I'll get some more tape tomorrow and then keep going with the rest of the car. I'll do the windows, and I'll basically just work my way back, I think. Pretty self-explanatory, but okay, so now that the front is all taped up, I'm gonna move to the doors. And this part is like pretty time consuming when you are painting and you don't want anything to go in there, but we don't really care about in the jam right now, just because I'm gonna paint it eventually anyways. So basically all I'm gonna do is like maybe back tape a little bit on the edge of the door. See how that works. So that way when I close the door, it'll kind of fill that gap a little bit. But the main thing is like up here and then down in here, because you don't want it, obviously you don't want it getting on your dash. So I'm gonna put a big piece of paper here just to cover the dash itself, so that 100% doesn't get primer on it. But then other than that, I'm pretty much just gonna back tape all the way around it and kind of fill the gap with tape, basically. And then I'm gonna back tape the whole window opening, basically just like I did, keep the dust out, and on the back side here, and paper it up. Okay, so it's like 75%, probably 80% taped up, I guess. This side is all done. Pretty good. You can see in there. Here it didn't really come out so good, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. But what I'm trying to do here is I'm gonna back tape like this here, and then like that, so then that way when I close it, these should touch and like seal it completely. Then I'll just back tape this edge, and then pretty much drop tape it down to the ground, and then it should be pretty much all done. Just gotta put a piece of tape behind that. Okay, so the car is fully taped up now. To the ground, whatever. And I started hanging up plastic on the wall, basically just trying to protect the wheels and my toolbox, and then whatever. I have a car cover under there and some other junk, and the welder. So I think that's pretty much all I'm gonna do. I covered the bench because chances are I'm gonna spill some stuff and don't want to make a mess of that. So yeah, as far as the rest of it, I'm not really too concerned. Maybe I'll hang a piece like on this wall just so when I'm spraying the hood, I don't like get it all over the wall. I'm probably gonna have to have this door open a little bit, which is gonna suck because it's like negative 18 today or something. So yeah, I haven't really figured that out. I might honestly just like do a coat, keep the doors closed, and then once I'm done, just put this, I have like this little oscillating fan type thing. I might just like open the door 6 inches, just stick it out just to kind of get the fumes out. So it's gonna be a struggle to keep it like warm in here for spraying. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with that yet, but it's pretty much ready to go. Okay, so this is basically what we're working with. This is the epoxy primer we're going to be using. It's BSF, Limco. It's super simple. It's just 4 to 1 to 1. So basically you got 4 to 1 to 1. This is the activator, the reducer. This is the actual primer. And you should have like a 1.5 tip, I think, for it. And what I have here is like the 3M plastic, whatever they call it. I don't know, what do they call this thing? AccuSpray. So the orange tip is 1.4, I'm pretty sure. So I'm probably just gonna reduce it down a little bit more. So like, instead of 4 to 1 to 1, maybe just go a little bit higher on the last one. Not a huge deal. That way it'll lay out a little bit nicer. But if that doesn't work, I also borrowed a gun with 1.5, just in case. So that's the first coat on. Well, I'll just put it on kind of like pretty light. Oh, it stinks in here so bad, so. That's pretty good. There's a few dings I didn't really know about, but that's okay. But yeah, I just put the first coat on really light, just enough to cover it, and that's about it basically. And the second coat will be probably a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker than that, and then that's all I'm gonna do is just 2 coats. That's good enough for this. But yeah, you can see like you don't see any of the like sand scratches or grinder marks or whatever. So that means we smoothed it out enough, so that's good. Sweet. So it's been about 20 minutes since I stopped spraying. Just let it kind of get the fumes out a little bit. It's still really bad, but just letting it heat back up, and it's pretty good now, so I'm gonna put the second coat on. And now you can see basically exactly what the body is like. You know, there's a big dent at the bottom of that door. It's pretty good now. I've already seen probably 4 or 5 other little just like door dings type things that I didn't know were there, but now we see them. So this is pretty much done now. So this is the second coat. That's all I'm going to do on it. I put the second coat on quite a bit heavier than the first coat. So now I'm just going to let it basically settle down in here. It's still pretty fumy. Then maybe tomorrow I'll come in here, untape it all, put the wheels back on. That'd be kind of cool to see. Put the wheels on and stuff, and then take down all this ugly plastic and stuff. I only used 2 cups. Like, look how much I have left too. So I should put a third coat on, but I'm dying from the fumes, so I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just over on the other side, making sure. I mean, it would have been too late, but I don't smell any of like the chemicals, so that's good. No overspray over here, because I really didn't want it on the R34. I didn't really care about the Genesis, obviously, but also the Corvette. It's got a car cover on it, but probably not the greatest form of protection against overspray. But it seems like it's okay. I think that's gonna do it for this video probably. So I think next video, what I'm gonna do is unwrap it all. Basically put the wheels back on it, get it on the ground or on the dollies or whatever, and then probably start working on the front bumper and modifying that and start cutting it apart and stuff. Now that the body is now sealed, it's primed, but it's completely sealed with bare metal, so it can sit now for a while. I'm not entirely sure if I fully explained it, but the whole idea of doing that, basically stripping the car, right, so we know nothing crazy is going on underneath it, fixing any of the metal work, like big dents, rust, stuff like that. Now we put that epoxy primer on, so it's a good base to start doing like body work and stuff on top of, because you can't, well you can, but you're technically not supposed to put body filler on bare metal, because the chemical reaction with the hardener and the filler creates heat, right? And heat creates moisture, and moisture is not good for bare metal, obviously. So apparently it can rust between the 2 layers. So what you do is you just put epoxy on the whole car, and then you go back and you'll start sanding it and doing the body work on top of that sanded epoxy. So that's basically the idea behind that. So now I can let that sit forever and just start working on the other stuff. So I got some body work to do to the body kit, like the front bumper, the rear diffuser, whatever. I'll go over it all. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. If you watch this far, especially. Yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one.